This podcast is a parody and is at present time completely unauthorized by Mattel or anyone claiming ownership of the trademarks therein, including Barbie, Ken, and the Dream House. Please don't sue.
Oh, let me just quickly top up my diet vodka. Yes. Hello, my little croissant witches. I'm Sir Laurent St. Wright. Back in the day, I used to direct movies and TV shows, like the 1979 sci-fi classic Atlantis Attacks. I was even knighted by the Queen herself, God rest her soul, for my contribution to the arts. But this whole time, I've also been collecting a very specific form of art. Literature-based erotica, or dirty stories, as the layman calls them. And I now own the world's largest private collection of these fictional sex-based texts. From the sexy limericks Donald Trump wrote for his favourite Russian escorts, including the one he married, to the racy letters Beyoncé wrote J's A through W, I have them all. And I've decided to share this legacy with you before I die and pass on some of the finer works in my collection. So, with the help of my beautiful cast, may I proudly present Erotica Verbatim. Now, before we get to today's story, it's time to answer some of this voluminous viewer mail. A Jimmy James 756 writes, "This is a response to your request asking what kind of stories we'd like to hear more of. Before that, though, I want to talk about this whole trans thing. There are only two genders. It was Adam and Eve, not Adam and dead-named Steve. But to answer your original question, more stories about hot trans women, please." Well, I'll keep them coming, Jimmy, as long as you do the same. Today's story is inspired by the Barbie movie. It's written by a Vivek Ramaswamy, 6969, and it's about how a new doll shows up in Barbie World, looking for a good time. So men, grab your Anthony Jizzle rags, and ladies, some moist towelettes, and settle back for a hot little story entitled Barbie Meets Ben. I was the first in a brand new line of male dolls that Mattel had just introduced to Barbie World to corner an untapped market. We were called incels, short for involuntary celibates, and we were called Ben, modelled after Ben Shapiro, in honour of his 43-minute Barbie movie review. The same guy who proudly announced that he'd never aroused a woman to the level of wet-ass pussy, and in fact, if a woman ever did get a WAP, then she was somehow diseased. I hate Barbie, by the way. She's blonde, a slut, and talks about the patriarchy so often I want to slap a bitch. But then she'd probably slap me back and make me cry, because I have very sensitive skin. So you win for now, women. My first day in Barbie World coincided with a huge orgy Barbie was throwing in her dream house. I did have my concerns though, because even though I looked like any other geek with a pair of area rugs for eyebrows, for some reason I was branded a cuck by the chads, and sluts wanted nothing to do with me. The head of Mattel told me it was entirely down to my attitude. But fuck her, the ugly foid tard. Instead of working, she should have been home taking care of her unaborted kids. Women, am I right? I rocked up to the dream house in the typical incel outfit, my black t-shirt and black chinos. Barbies and Kens were everywhere, having a good time, dancing, drinking, and making out as Dua Lipa played on the speakers. If I couldn't score tonight, then I'd burn the place down. I touched the box of matches in my back pocket. It was the incel doll's main accessory and came free with every Ben. That and a bottle of acid.
Hey man, how's it going?
I looked up to see Giga Chad Ken looking down at me, smiling. Why did Mattel have to make incel dolls so much shorter than everyone else? Ugh.
What's up, Ken?
What's your name, bruh? Ain't seen you around town before.
I'm Ben. I'm new here.
No way! We hardly ever get new dolls. What's your hook?
I'm an incel. I guess it makes sense because they made me with nothing between my legs.
I pulled my pants down to show him my smooth plastic crotch. Ken laughed and pulled his jeans down.
Bruh, I'd say we're the same, but somehow you've got even less there than I do.
Laughing, he walked off into the crowd to hang out with the other feminist soy boy simps. Someone tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around.
Hey, I'm Party Barbie. Welcome to my Rager. Haven't seen you around town before.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm an incel.
I've heard of those, but that's weird. It's not like you look like the Elephant Man or anything.
Right? I'd make a great boyfriend for a slut whore who subjugates herself to my every desire, but I can't find one.
Oh, I totally get it now.
You do? Well, then please explain it to me. And use logic if you can, and not your woman feelings.
Before she could answer, she was whisked away by an I got a pocket full of Molly's Ken. If this evening didn't turn around soon, I'd have to do something drastic. I went over to the food table and began piling up a plate with shrimp. I know God said shellfish was as abominable as being gay, but there was nothing in the Bible that said you couldn't cherry-pick it according to your feelings. Oh, and totally separately, fuck your feelings. Ugh. Anyway, as I loaded up with shrimp, I bumped into the ugliest doll I've straight up ever seen.
Hey, I'm new around here. Name's Huckabee. Karen Huckabee. I'm part of Mattel's new self-loathing line of antisocial religious psychopaths.
Yeah, me too. I'm Ben. I'm an incel. I'm the first in a whole new division Mattel's introducing. Now it's illegal to be woke. Coming soon is Tate the human trafficker, Tucker the fascist, and Donald the rapist.
Random. I'm from the sister line. I'm a femcel.
Was this the woman I'd been searching for my whole life? She looked like one of those girls who'd been going to Weight Watchers all her life, but just for the social aspect. And her right eye must have been really interesting because her left eye kept staring at it. She was stuffing her face with hot sausages and brie.
I heard the talking Karen dolls can only lie.
We got another thing in common. We hate women too.
She suddenly seemed a lot more attractive to me.
Do you want to sleep with me? It'll only take a minute of your time, I promise.
It's Huckabee, not Fuckabee. Jesus, I wouldn't peg you with someone else's dick, you nebbishy piece of shit. I thought you were gay anyway.
Gay? I feel weird wiping my own ass.
She and her 3 cats stormed off looking for a bus to throw some women under. I stood there alone, hated and hateful. So I did what came naturally. I opened up my Ben's Boxo matches and casually lit one. I looked around one last time at everyone having fun and laughing and loving, and I tossed the match. Plastic, as you know, burns easily, and within seconds, everyone, including myself, was melting.
Why did you do this?
Because if I can't have something, no one can. And because this is how incels will take over the world, by burning it down.
I reached for my plate, and with my final act ever, I tossed my last shrimp on the Barbie. The end. Oh, you see, this is why I love collecting erotica. But it's not just the sexual encounters that stay with you, but the unanswered questions too. Like, why are we not doing more to deal with extremists? Are dads talking to their boys about it? Because you should be. Those kids need you. And why can't misogynists admit that the only thing hideously ugly about themselves is their heinous attitudes to other humans? Well, until next time, sweet dreams, my little croissantwages. Mwah!
You've been listening to Erotica Verbatim, created, written, and produced by Hayden Black. Edited by Joe Larigo, and starring Hayden Black, Eric Abraham, Sarah Oleksic, and Julio Heinsohn. If you had a laugh, please recommend us, and don't forget to subscribe.